What is up guys, it's P9 back at it again and welcome to a new video. I don't often cover Unturned updates because, let's be honest, in recent times they have been mostly disappointing, but this update is the first major vanilla update in I don't know how long. I'm sure there's people watching this video right now that weren't even born when we have last had a vanilla update this size. I'm not even kidding. From a brand new fishing overhaul to new blueprints, a new material, new clothing, a new map location, lots of new food, a complete berry redesign, reworked animations, more workstations, balance and changes, and so much more. And the best part is that this update affects all official maps, so PEI, Washington, Russia, Germany, and Yukon. And with all of that being said, let's not waste any more time and get right into the update. Fishing on Unturned has always been boring. You cast, you see the bobber go down, you strike, and that is about it. But this has been reworked entirely. So if you're fishing in Unturned now, you cast out your fishing rod and wait for the bobber to go down, then set the hook by left clicking. But what's different is that you now actually start playing the fish. So let me explain. The image shown inside the blue box is the item you're currently playing. It randomly goes up and down, and depending on the item or fish, it either moves slower or faster. So for example, a goldfish is really weak and will barely move at all, while something like a northern pike is strong and will therefore move much more, ultimately making it much harder to catch. The box inside the blue box is the cursor box, which is controlled up and down by holding and releasing your left mouse button. Holding it will move it up and releasing it will move it down. Your aim here is to keep the cursor box in line with the fish as long as possible, and when doing it right it will turn from red to white. To the right you see the capture progress bar that indicates how far away you are from catching the fish. Whenever your cursor box is white, the capture bar will fill up, and whenever it turns red, it will start moving down again. Once you fill up this bar to the top, you successfully receive the item displayed in the blue box. However, if you struggle during the fight and the capture bar hits the bottom, you will not immediately lose the fish, but instead it will switch over to the escape bar, which starts at the top and goes down. Should the cursor box turn white for even 1 millisecond during this escape bar, it will immediately switch over to the capture bar again. And when you do happen to lose a fish, you don't have to recast your rod, you just need to wait for another one to come along. Honestly, it is much more shrimple than it sounds like, so if you try it out for yourself, I promise you that it will only take you a few tries and you get the hang of it. There are 5 different fishing rods in Unturned: the birch rod, the maple rod, the pine rod, the fishing rod, and the upgraded fishing rod. Unlike before, all 5 rods share the same loot table now, meaning that the loot you catch is the same on all the rods but slightly differ from map to map. All these rods have slightly different stats now, making catching very big fish very challenging on low tier rods. First and by far the worst ones you can use are the 3 craftable wooden rods. All of those have minus 25% capture speed, making the capture bar go up 25% slower, plus 25% escape speed, making the escape bar 25% faster, and minus 10% luring speed, meaning you will have to wait 10% longer for a fish to bite. But on top of these debuffs, all the 3 rods come with a unique disadvantage, making it even more challenging to successfully catch fish on them. The birch rods are less precise and therefore have a smaller cursor box. The maple rods have a bad response time, making the cursor box move slower, and pine rods are prone to overreacting, causing the cursor box to bounce more when hitting the top or the bottom edge. The regular fishing rod can be found in campsites all around the map and is a much better choice as it doesn't come with any of those debuffs, nor does it have any unique disadvantage. If you want to catch efficiently, find yourself one of those, trust me. The best and by far the most effective rod to use is the upgraded fishing rod. So far this rod was only obtainable on the Russia map, but can now be crafted on 4 of the official vanilla maps. Yukon isn't affected since Yukon has no water, just ice. Well, technically ice is water, but you get what I mean. Ice fishing when Nelson. But crafting the upgraded fishing rod isn't necessarily easy. On top of 1 fishing rod, 1 raw explosives, 1 nails and 2 wire, you need the upgraded fishing rod blueprint. With the exception of the Russia map, where you can still only get it through the questline, this exact blueprint can now be caught with a 0.5% chance on PI, Washington and Germany. This, by the way, is a 1 in 200 chance to catch the blueprint. When you do eventually get lucky and catch this blueprint, you can craft as many upgraded fishing rods as you wish, since the blueprint itself will never be consumed. Guys, quick edit right here. Whilst recording and editing this update video, I have convinced Nelson to make fishing during rain more efficient. So right now, as this update is live, you should be able to catch more fish during rain. Now that I went through the new fishing mechanics and all the rods, let's talk about all the new fish and items that have been added to the fishing loot. Seaweed, shrimp, goatfish, northern pike, dolphinfish, lobster, giant trevally, tuna, upgraded fishing rod blueprint, and the pike blueprint. In case you didn't know, the pike is Unturned's first melee weapon that has a 3 meter range instead of the 2 meter range, and on top deals more damage than the military knife, making this ultimately the best melee weapon in vanilla Unturned right now. Now, believe it or not, the pike itself is not new to the game. It was silently added to the game a couple of years ago, but has never been obtainable through legit gameplay and was only an admin item that could be spawned in. Just like the upgraded fishing rod blueprint, the pike blueprint also has a 0.5% chance to be caught and can be used in combination with 4 metal sheets, 10 maple sticks, 2 leather, 3 glue and a raw northern pike to craft the best melee weapon that exists in Unturned. Pike PvP is about to go crazy, I'm telling you. No, not this pike. Now, there are some exceptions to the pike blueprint. On Germany, you have a higher chance to catch the pike blueprint. It is a 1% chance in saltwater and 0.67% chance in freshwater. And once you found the blueprint on the Germany map, you have to visit one of the 2 freshwater locations. It is either this waterfall up this mountain here or this little pond in the corner of the map. Because in only those 2 locations you can actually catch the northern pike, which is required for the pike crafting recipe. And yeah, Yukon is still full of ice. It's also worth to mention that all the new fish that were added can also be cooked now, or furthermore be converted into fish sandwiches. And the seaweed can be turned into seaweed soup using 1 ceramic bowl, 3 seaweed and 1 bottled water. Before I cover the rest of the update, a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video, Pine Hosting. If you are looking for an Unturned server host, then Pine Hosting got you covered. There you can make your own high-performance server within minutes in one of many locations around the globe. Pine Hosting has a powerful DDoS protection, is super easy to use and even features their own one-click plugin installer. They offer servers for a wide variety of games, from Minecraft to Rust, and all of that for a very affordable price. I myself have used Pine Hosting for my own servers for years now, and so far always made a good experience. Use my code P9NDA to get 30% off your order and use the link in the description to support my channel. Thank you Pine Hosting for sponsoring this video, and now let's get back into the update. Clay nodes have now been added across all vanilla maps and are often positioned underwater. These are mineable using a pickaxe, jackhammer or shovel, which officially makes the shovel not useless anymore. Upon destroying a clay node, you receive between 2 and 5 clay. You require 5 clay and a campfire to craft yourself a pottery kiln. This pottery kiln is used to create ceramic bowls and plates for food creation, or much more important, to craft bricks. Yes, you heard right. 2 clay will turn into 1 bricks. We now have brick variants for floors, triangular floors, roofs, triangular roofs, holes, stairs and ramps. Lighthouses on all maps now have their own loot table, which is similar to the items you can find in campgrounds. A new rain suit clothing set has been added, which doesn't have a practical use but looks pretty neat and can only be found in those lighthouses. On PI, the lighthouse area was extended, featuring more zombies, a larger nav mesh for them to roam in, and a brand new cave. Perfect to build a base in, and this one probably being even better suited for smaller cave bases than the big cave that already existed. We now have 2 different types of mushrooms, which are kinda rare but can be found on all maps, typically under trees. There's the brown cap mushroom, which can be used as a low tier food source, and the red spotted mushroom, which causes hallucination effects as well as infection when being eaten raw. Both of those mushrooms can be turned into seeds, get roasted, or be turned into a mushroom pizza or mushroom stew. We all know and love berries, but berries have been completely redesigned and rebalanced around specific stats now. Firstly, all berry names and colors have changed and we got one additional berry in the collection. We now have the Hano berries, Aim berries, Viri berries, Gloom berries, Crimberries, Mayberries, Jazzberries, and Rainberries.
Wait. Rainberry? This has to be a joke or something.
The two berries that definitely stand out here are the Jazzberries that restore 60 stamina and the Hanu berries which add 50 oxygen. And with the ability to turn all of those berries into seeds and then start a farm, this could be quite interesting.
Really now?
The Hanu berry can be found on all maps except of Russia, where you can purchase it from the black market dealer NPC. By the way, same with all the newly added fish, and the squid, which has been renamed to giant squid, can be sold to Chef Leonard on Russia. And good news for the berry pie enjoyer, because all berry pie crafting costs were reduced from 4 to only 3 refined berries. And if you're less of a berry guy, but more of a maple syrup guy, you might find them very rarely now when chopping maple trees. And sticking with the food theme, a bunch of new dishes were added to the game, utilizing the new food items, all of which come with great animations. We now have the lobster roll, the poke bowl, a salmon meunier, a stargazy pie, the vegetable stew, a baked potato, cooked rice, and alternative recipes for pizza using canned beef was added. But it's not just the new dishes that got nice new animations, but also a bunch of the old food which have been improved massively. We got new animations for candy bars, canned foods, sandwiches, donuts, pancakes, waffles, bread, cake, pies, chips, MREs, my beloved, pizza, and meat. Libraries now have adjusted their loot and can spawn a wide variety of supplies, and once in a while, if you're lucky, you may even find one of the 2 rare blueprints that can now spawn here. The first one being the Sewing Workstations blueprint, which allows you to craft both a spinning wheel and a loom. Those have different appearances but share the same sewing capabilities. And secondly, a dressing blueprint, which in combination with 1 bandage and 1 chemical can be used to craft dressings on the go without needing a chemistry lab nearby. Botanist shops and libraries can now spawn rice and sugarcane seeds, both which need to be planted, harvested and then used as ingredients to craft more high quality food. Coconuts finally made their way from Hawaii to official maps where they can be found in grocers and kitchens. The growth time of a few seeds was adjusted so that berry, potato, pumpkin and tomatoes now take longer to grow, but the growth time of corn and wheat seeds was reduced. A couple player spawns near the Summerside military base on PEI were moved away, preventing players from occasionally spawning right next to it. The heat stim was buffed from giving 9 seconds of warmth to 20 seconds. Most fish and fish sandwiches now restore more water when eaten, and in general many food, water, energy and infection values were rebalanced to make high-end consumables much more useful. A server option for server owners to allow building in the safe zone has been added. It's defaulted to allowed in single player, meaning that you can finally build on the Liberator, for example. There's a few more adjustments, bug fixes, modding related things, but it would just be too much to cover in this video. I feel like most of the important things have been covered, and with that being said, do let me know in the comments right now which of the features are your favorite ones and which ones do you not like, because I'm sure that Dogfood, Mold and Nelson, all which have worked on this update, will read through the comments and maybe even reply to some. No pressure, but that would be kind of cool to see. I will try to reply to as many comments as possible, so yeah, do let me know what you think.